Welcome to Dan's Experience Podcast, From Cubicle to Cashflow, the podcast where discipline meets opportunity and action builds freedom. I am Dan Protas. I left the corporate cubicle to build a life I love through real estate and disciplined execution. Each week, we unpack mindsets, systems, and step-by-step plays to move you closer to freedom, one door at a time. If you're ready to trade comfort for progress, you are in the right place. Let's get to work. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dan's Experience From Cubicle to Cashflow podcast. I am your host, Dan Protas. This podcast is all about the journey from corporate world to building freedom through real estate and disciplined action. If you ever felt stuck in a cubicle wondering if there's more to life than a paycheck, then this show is for you. To kick it off, I'll give you my corporate background. For years, I've worked for a financial institution. On the outside, it looked great. Stable career, good income, benefits. You can go to the gym for free parking. But inside, I knew something was missing. Every day felt like a same routine, long commute, and I could see exactly what my future would look like if I stay on that path. The only good thing about the long commute was that I was listening to all the books and podcasts on the way to work and from work. However, the problem was that's not the future I wanted. So the realization came that climbing the corporate ladder wasn't really leading me anywhere I wanted to go. I was working hard, but I was working hard for somebody else's dream. And I knew deep inside that if I want to change, I needed to do something about it. Nevertheless, this realization was lingering within me, but I didn't take action. Fear held me back. Steady paycheck, comfort of so-called security. It was hard to walk away from that. And also, I think the other piece was that I had the identity of working in a corporate world, and that was important to me to a certain extent. However, I did do some side hustle within real estate so that I can learn and be curious if there's something else. And so I did that. And as I mentioned already, listening to podcasts, reading books. We proudly own a number of units, multifamily units on the commercial side that I was able to get my experience and get my feet wet. So those little sparks of possibility being already in real estate made me think maybe there is something else out there. Maybe there's another way. So there came a tipping point in my career at the financial institution where I was, and I realized that it was now or never. The moment came where I had to make a decision whether to continue, stay in the corporate world, or leave. And it was in a way kind of just like continue dreaming about the freedom or take the leap and actually create it. So the day came and I quit. I walked away from the corporate world, scared out of my mind, but excited what was ahead of me. And so when the day came, the freedom came with it, but at the same time also the uncertainty. I remember waking up really early and thinking, wow, I am in control But at the same time, doubts creep in as well. How will I replace my income? What if I will fail? It was messy. But nevertheless, it was the best decision I made. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to say it's easy decision. However, it came with challenges. Self-doubt showed up every day. I had to control my thinking. I had to control my narrative so that I can focus on what my goal is. Not everyone around me understood why I left a good job, my corporate world job. But those challenges, those questions that came from other people, those were the challenges that forced me to grow, come up with ways, come up with ideas that will propel me and get me closer to my ultimate goal. So real estate essentially is the goal. And the reason is because it provides long-term wealth, passive income, and scale. I paired it with property management company as well so that it can give me the flexibility and a way to generate income in the short term. Together, they both can give me stability and growth. Thus far, what I'm learning from making this decision is that freedom requires risk. Not reckless risk, calculated risk. If you prepare, you can withstand the negative thinking, doubts. You have to stay disciplined. You have to have courage to act. You have to create your own opportunities if you want something better. Opportunities, they don't exist in a comfort zone. You have to get out of the comfort zone. So I know this is my first episode, and I just want to leave you with one takeaway for my listeners, my audience, and leave you here with one challenge. Identify one area of your fear that you are currently tolerating. Maybe it's a job, a habit, or maybe it's a relationship. Write it down. Then brainstorm 3 ideas, small actions that you could take to change that situation. Freedom doesn't come overnight. It starts with one step. So thank you for joining me on this very first episode of Dan's Experience from Cubicle to Cashflow. This podcast is all about real stories, real discipline, and real actions taken by people from everyday life. If you found value in today's story, share it with somebody else that may need to hear it. Also, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode where we will dive into why discipline always beats motivation. Until next time, keep pushing forward. Thanks for listening to Dan's Experience podcast from Cubicle to Cashflow. I am Dan Protas. If today helped, follow or subscribe, share it with a friend, and drop a quick review. It really helps the show grow. Remember, discipline meets opportunity and action builds freedom. Take one step today, then join me next episode.